As you can see down here in the menu, we've now moved from the model step to the design step. So this is what the model looks like now, and again I have two sliders to choose from in the right menu. First, there is the undercut opacity, where I can determine to what extent the undercuts are shown. I can, for example, make them a little bit more transparent or hide them completely if I find them distracting. For now, though, I'll leave them fully visible. Under Splint Preview, I have the option of making the view of the splint more transparent as well. We'll see that this is needed in a moment. This step is about defining the splint margin line. For this, I'll zoom in a bit closer and left-click to place markers. The algorithm running in the background makes sure that we achieve a nice rounded progression line rather than sharp angles. You can already see that as I hover on the line, I get a suggestion to place another marker. I can do that with a simple left click, and I can also move this marker by dragging and dropping. Dragging and dropping like so. If I ever want to remove a marker, I can simply mouse over the marker and press the D key. I'm now going to roughly define the progression of the splint margin, making sure that I don't place any of my markers in the red areas, as these areas have already been blocked out. I'm deliberately only placing a few markers here that I can show you the next feature. When placing the markers, it's always helpful to rotate the model a little bit and use different perspectives to make sure the margin line is the best it can be. I'm trying to make things a little bit more rounded in the anterior region. I want to make sure I also don't compress the interdental papilla either. Again, I have the option of moving the markers at any time should I notice a previous marker isn't quite right. If I want to move the model, I can do so by clicking the right mouse button and holding down the space bar at the same time. Just in case you don't remember the key commands, they're always visible on this right-hand panel. I've now almost placed all of my markers, and I'm going to place the last one on top of the first one, like so. The markers connect automatically, therefore closing the margin. The blue color now shows which areas would be covered by the splint. I can use the second slider of the Splint Preview to change these colors. This makes my work much easier as I can still see where the green undercuts are that I need and where I might be missing. I can add markers in between by clicking the margin line and dragging just as before. You can see that this dynamically changes as I work. I don't want to go quite so deep on the front teeth, as we're going to need to get the second support in the posterior region. Now I'm making sure that everything is rounded as I want, since I didn't set that many markers previously. You can see how easy it is to add additional markers and make small adjustments. I'm reducing the sharpness and making sure that the splint is designed symmetrically. I've just placed a marker in the wrong place, so now is a good time to show the undo feature. This makes the incorrectly placed marker disappear. It's sometimes easier to use this button than to select the marker and press D to delete. When we're satisfied, we can get the Splint preview option to 100% and double check everything. But it looks good. It's now on to the next step by clicking the arrow as usual. This again requires some processing time as the actual splint is now being calculated. We've not only just designed the inside, but also the outside. Here we have the first suggestion of what the splint could look like, and I still have the option of going back to the previous step via this arrow if I'm not satisfied with some part of our design.